Hi everyone, welcome back to the next video in the Excel automation series. Let's see our agenda for today. Today we are going to discuss about why do we need tables in an Excel, how exactly we can create table in Excel with the help of UiPath Studio, how we can filter the data inside a table in Excel with the help of UiPath Studio, and all of this we are going to see with the help of our demonstration. Talking about what are tables and why do we need exactly tables in Excel. So let's see what exactly is a table is. So if you'll see, I have a data in front of me which is available in sheet 2. So if I just select the data, this is just a normal data. And how do I know that it is not a table? Because I cannot see the design tab at the top, right? So how can I convert this to a table? I can easily go here and hit Ctrl+T, and it will ask me the data. Okay, my table has headers. Okay, and now this data is converted to a table. So if you will see, the design is highlighted at the top, so that means this data is now converted to a table. So earlier if it was a simple data and now it's a table. So let's see what is the difference. I hit Ctrl+Z, again I convert it to the range. I'll just copy paste it here. So now this is the range and this is also range. Let's convert this guy to a table. Ctrl+T, hit OK. Okay, so now this is a simple range and this is the table. So let us see what are the difference between using a normal range and the table. So first thing is the design table is enabled. In the design tab we can see I have an option to provide the styles to the table. I can convert the styles to the table, which was not possible when I use the normal range. Next thing is there is always a filter button which is already available whenever I convert the data to the table. I can use these options and customize my table as per my requirement. Like this, I can just highlight this one. So these options are not available in the normal set of range. So let's say if I just do a normal Google search of why tables are important. So first thing is filters. So if I go back, you see the filters option is already enabled whenever we convert any of the data to a table data, and we can always disable this one. Header row is also added because we have selected that my table has header, so we have got this header. In case we just want to get rid of, we can always come here and remove this option. So these are some of the benefits which the table gives me. Let's go back. It says that automatic autofill. Okay, so what does that mean? So automatic autofill, let's say I just want to I just create a formula here. Let's say I just write a formula here, concatenate, and I'll just put this guy comma this guy and enter. So I have applied a formula to the first element in the Excel and I have concatenated this A and B, right? So whenever I am using a normal range, this is not automatically populated. Let's see, let's try to do the same thing in case of a table. I type here equal to, then concatenate, and the same thing, this item comma this item followed by this, enter. So if you will see, whenever I have added one formula to one of the item, it is automatically dragged to the end, right? So this is the benefit which table gives me. One more benefit is whenever I have formula, I have to manually drag and drop in case of a normal range. Let's say I just add one more data here. I will copy this and paste it here. This formula is not automatically dragged, right? But what if I just paste the data here? You will see the formula is automatic populated. So this is the benefit which the table gives me. And talking in terms of UiPath Studio, what is the benefit which I gave? We have seen in the previous video of the pivot refresh that UiPath pivot refresh activity works only with table and does not work with the normal range. So let's go back again to the table and see the design tab. Okay, so I can always remove the duplicate. So this is the table name. I can always convert the table to again to the ranges by using this option. I have option of exporting it to the SharePoint. One more important thing with the tables is that we can always use this option total row and it will give me the total of the rows. So this is pretty interesting feature which is provided by the tables. Now let's switch back to UiPath Studio and see how we can create a table in UiPath Studio. So if I go back to UiPath Studio, so talking about the activity of the pivot refresh which requires table is this activity. So if I go here and type pivots, so there is an activity called create pivot table. So if you will see, the input type to the create pivot table is a table name. So this requires a table. We cannot create a pivot with the help of a data range with this activity. So that's why it becomes important to create table. So in this tutorial, we are going to see how we can create a table with the help of UiPath Studio. So I'll just revert everything back. I'll just delete this table and this guy also. So I have a normal set of data, and how I can say that this is normal range and not table, because the design table is not enabled, right? So let's go back to UiPath Studio. First thing first, I have implemented an Excel application scope, and that is pointing to this file sample excel.xls. Okay, I'll save this changes. To create a table, we can go to activities and type here table, and I have an option of create table. Let's drag and drop it here. Let's go to the properties. So this has pretty straightforward properties. What is the input sheet? So for me the sheet name is sheet 2. Okay, what is the range I want to create the table for? So the range which I want to create table is, let's go back to the Excel. So this is from A1 to D22. So I type here range in the double quotes, A1 to B22. And now the next thing is, what would be the table name I want to create? So once the table is created, by default when we create a table in Excel, the table name is table 45, table 46, but in UiPath we have an option to give the table name. So I'll just give it table sample data. Okay, save the workflow, go to the properties. So this is the sheet name, sheet 2. Table name is, I want to create the table with this, and this is the range of the data. One more thing, all these parameters can be accommodated with the help of variables and arguments, and can be configurable. Just to run the flow in the debug mode, I just put a right line here, put a debugger, go to debug file, and I'll select debug. Okay, so the process is executing, debugger is hit. So let's go back to the Excel, and now we see the normal range of data is now converted to a table. So how can I say that? I can just select the header, and now the design tab is enabled. If I go to the design tab, you will see the table name is created with table sample data, and this is the same name which we have put in the UiPath Studio. Okay, so now I can play around the data, like last column I can put the have total rows. So this is how we use the create table in UiPath Studio. Let's try to filter the data of the table with the help of Excel, and then we will do with the same activity with help of UiPath Studio. So let's say what I want to accomplish. So I have the data for segment. Let's try, I want to filter the data for the government. So when I filter, I got 6 of 21 records. So let's say how we can do with the help of UiPath Studio. So I jump back to UiPath Studio. So now I don't want a create table activity. What I can do is I can go to activity, type here filter table, drag and drop the activity, and let's go to the properties. For filter table, I have this only input and no output is available. So let's go through the properties. So the first thing is the sheet name. Let's go back to the Excel. The sheet name is sheet 2. Okay, the table name. Now what is the table name? So if I click here, go to the design, so this is the table name. Okay, go back to your UiPath Studio, provide the table name in double quotes because this is of type string. Next, which is the column you want to apply the filter? So for the column, I want to apply filter for, let's say, segment. Copy this, go back to UiPath Studio, provide the column name like this, and now important option is the filter option, that on what value you want to filter the data for the segment. So if I just hover over it, you will see this is in type of in argument, and it is array of string, so I can provide more than one values also. So to provide array of strings, what we do is we put two curly braces, and on what values we want to filter. So I want to filter it for government. Okay, so as of now I am just passing only one single element to the array. Okay, so this looks good. Let's go back to the Excel, save everything, go back to your UiPath Studio and debug the file. Let's go back to Excel. So now we can see we have got the 6 record after filtering the data available in the table. So this is how we use the filter table activity in UiPath Studio. To know more about create table and filter table activity, we can always navigate to docs.uipath.com and we can read about the activities and the property where we are provided an example also. So this is filter table and this is create table official documentation. I'll wrap up the video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and happy automation.